Asterisk, an engagement should be the happiest moment in a couple's life. But when Belly and Jeremiah dropped their big news, the room didn't light up, it froze. One glance at Conrad's face said everything. And Belly, she couldn't even meet his eyes. This wasn't just a sweet summer love story anymore, it was turning into a full-on emotional mess. So, what really happened in episode 3? Let's break down the chaos. Episode 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Season 3 wastes no time diving into the drama. The episode opens with Belly and Jeremiah sitting nervously on the edge of the bed, talking about how and when they're going to tell everyone about their engagement. They're both smiling, but it's the kind of smile that feels forced. There's excitement, sure, but there's also fear. You can tell they know this is going to hit people hard. Asterisk, the big moment, finally, comes at the Fisher house during a small dinner. Belly, holding Jeremiah's hand tightly, blurts it out, "We're engaged." The room goes silent. You can practically hear a pin drop. Everyone freezes. Laurel, Steven, Aunt Julia, and then there's Conrad. His reaction isn't loud or dramatic, he just stares for a moment, blinking slowly, like the words haven't quite hit yet. But when they do, the pain on his face is impossible to ignore. Asterisk, what follows is a mix of awkwardness, tension, and unspoken emotion. Laurel immediately questions the timing. Steven tries to stay neutral but can't hide his confusion. Conrad says nothing, but you can see the storm building inside him. Jeremiah tries to play it cool, telling everyone they're sure about this, that they're happy. But the energy around the table tells a different story. No one is cheering. No one is toasting. It doesn't feel like a celebration, it feels like a warning. Asterisk, the episode continues to show the ripple effects of the announcement. Belly tries to keep the mood light, but she can't stop fidgeting with her ring. In private, Laurel corners her, asking if she's really ready for this. "You're still so young," she says. Belly pushes back, saying she's sure, but her voice shakes a little. Asterisk, meanwhile, Jeremiah is trying his best to hold things together. He smiles, he reassures, he acts like nothing's wrong, but deep down, he knows not everyone is on board, and that includes Belly. There's a moment where he catches her staring out the window, lost in thought, and asks, "You okay?" She nods, but again something in her eyes says otherwise. Asterisk, and let's not forget Conrad. Though he barely speaks for most of the episode, his presence is heavy. Every time Belly enters a room, he leaves. When they do cross paths, it's awkward, like they're strangers. But there's something unsaid. Asterisk, by the end of the episode, things aren't any clearer. The engagement stands. No one has openly fought about it. But the air is thick with tension, and Belly looks more overwhelmed than ever. It's not just about love anymore. It's about timing, family, grief, and the weight of decisions made too quickly. Asterisk, at first glance, Belly and Jeremiah look like they're trying to stay strong together. They keep holding hands, smiling at each other, and acting like they've got everything under control. But when you look a little closer, cracks start to show in fast. The engagement wasn't something anyone saw coming, and that surprise ends up putting serious pressure on their relationship almost immediately. Asterisk, after the dinner announcement, Belly and Jeremiah retreat to the beach house porch, away from the awkward silence inside. Belly looks down at her ring, spinning it around her finger without even realizing it. Jeremiah notices. "Second thoughts," he jokes, trying to keep the mood light. But Belly doesn't laugh. She just says, "It's a lot." That short answer says everything. She's not backing out, but she's clearly overwhelmed. Asterisk, from Jeremiah's side, there's a quiet desperation. He's trying to prove something not just to Belly, but maybe to himself. He keeps checking in on her, saying things like, "We're good, right?" or "This is what you want." It's clear he needs reassurance. This engagement wasn't just about love for him, it feels like it was also a way to lock things down before anything or anyone else could get in the way. And that anyone else is obviously Conrad. Even though Jeremiah tries not to show it, you can feel the tension building every time Conrad walks into a room. It's like Jeremiah's smile tightens. He straightens up, keeps Belly closer. It's subtle, but it's there. He knows this isn't just about celebrating a future. It's also about protecting it. Asterisk, meanwhile, Belly's mood swings from happy to anxious in almost every scene. One moment she's talking about wedding colors with Aunt Julia, and the next she's walking down the beach alone, staring at the ocean. When Steven finds her out there, he says, "You don't seem like someone who just got engaged." Belly doesn't answer right away. She finally says, I didn't expect it to feel this, heavy. That line hits hard. Because love isn't supposed to feel heavy, at least not this early on. It becomes obvious that Belly didn't think everything through. Maybe she thought the engagement would fix things. Maybe she thought choosing Jeremiah would finally help her move on from the confusion and pain of the past few summers, but the truth is, she's still carrying all of that. The grief from Susannah's death. The heartbreak with Conrad. The pressure from everyone around her. This engagement didn't erase any of it, just added another layer. There's also a small but powerful moment when Belly overhears Laurel talking to Aunt Julia. Laurel says, she's trying so hard to make this work, but I don't think she knows what she really wants. Belly doesn't say anything, she just walks away. But you can see it hit her. Someone finally said out loud what she's been trying to avoid. As the episode goes on, we see more signs of the emotional weight Belly is carrying. She zones out during conversations. She flinches when people bring up wedding planning, and she starts to avoid one-on-one time with Jeremiah. These are all small signs, but together they paint a clear picture. Belly is struggling. She might love Jeremiah, but love alone isn't making her feel confident or clear. If anything, she's more unsure than ever. And Jeremiah feels it too. You can tell he's scared to push her, scared to ask too many questions. So he just keeps pretending everything's fine, hoping she'll catch up emotionally. But pretending only works for so long. Eventually, things are going to break. This episode doesn't give us a dramatic fight between them, not yet, but it gives us something more honest. The quiet unraveling of two people who want to be sure of each other, but maybe aren't. The fallout isn't loud or explosive. It's in the silences, the glances, the missed connections, and it leaves us wondering, is this engagement something real? Or just something they're both clinging to because they don't know what else to do? If Belly and Jeremiah's engagement caused a storm, then Conrad stood right in the middle of it, silent, still, and visibly hurting. He barely says a word in this episode, but somehow, he speaks louder than anyone else. Every glance, every quiet exit from a room, every forced smile, Conrad's heartbreak is all over the screen. When Belly and Jeremiah first break the news at dinner, all eyes flick to Conrad. He doesn't flinch, doesn't shout, doesn't even blink right away. He just looks frozen. Like his entire body shuts down for a second. Then, without saying anything, he picks up his water glass and takes a sip. That's it. That's all he does. But it's powerful, because in that moment, you know he's completely crushed and trying desperately not to show it. Throughout the episode, Conrad avoids Belly like she's a stranger. When she walks into a room, he walks out. When she tries to speak to him, he barely responds. It's not out of anger, it's out of heartbreak. You can see it in his eyes. He didn't think she'd actually go through with it. He probably thought she was still figuring things out, that there was still time. But now, she's engaged to his brother. That door he kept slightly open, slammed shut. There's a scene where Conrad is sitting on the porch by himself. Late at night, he's watching the waves, wearing that same worn hoodie he's had 4 seasons. Belly walks out quietly and stands nearby. They don't speak. He doesn't even look at her. The silence is thick. Finally, she says softly, "Are you okay?" And all he replies is, "I will be." That's it. No eye contact. No follow-up. Just those 3 words, "I will be." It's heartbreaking, because we know that's a lie. He's not okay. Not even close. Even though he says almost nothing, Conrad's emotions are written all over his face. The way he clenches his jaw when Jeremiah walks by. The way his eyes flick toward Belly's ring when she's not looking. The way he retreats into himself every time someone brings up wedding plans. It's like he's disappearing, piece by piece. One of the most gut-wrenching moments comes when Steven tries to check on him. He sits next to Conrad in the garage and says, "You don't have to pretend like it doesn't bother you." Conrad shrugs and says, "It's her choice. I'm happy for them." But there's no happiness in his voice. It's flat, emotionless, a line he's rehearsed in his head 100 times. Steven doesn't push, but he gives him a look that says, "You don't have to lie to me." One of the most gut-wrenching moments comes when Steven tries to check on him. He sits next to Conrad in the garage and says, "You don't have to pretend like it doesn't bother you." Conrad shrugs and says, "It's her choice. I'm happy for them." But there's no happiness in his voice. It's flat, emotionless, a line he's rehearsed in his head 100 times. Steven doesn't push, but he gives him a look that says, "You don't have to lie to me." Conrad's silence throughout the episode makes one thing clear: he's heartbroken, but he's not going to fight. At least, not yet. He's choosing to step back, to let Belly go, even if it kills him inside. Maybe he thinks it's what she wants. Maybe he thinks she's happier this way, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. What's even sadder is that Belly notices. She sees the way Conrad avoids her. She hears the emptiness in his voice. And there's a moment, just for a second, where she watches him walk away, and her face softens, like she's remembering something. Like she's wondering if she made the right choice. But the moment passes, and she goes back to Jeremiah. There's no big speech from Conrad in this episode. No dramatic plea. No confrontation. Just quiet, heavy heartbreak. The kind that doesn't need words because it's written in every breath, every look, every silence. And the hardest part. We know he still loves her. That love didn't disappear. It's still there, hidden behind the walls he's trying to build fast enough to protect himself, but the cracks are already showing. This episode shows us a different kind of pain, one that doesn't scream or shout. It just lingers, and as viewers we're left wondering, how long can Conrad keep all this inside before it finally breaks? While most of the attention in this episode goes to Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad, the reactions from the people around them, especially Laurel and Steven, add even more depth to the chaos. Their responses aren't just about the engagement itself. They're rooted in fear, grief, and the overwhelming feeling that everything is moving way too fast. Laurel is the first to speak up after the dinner announcement. And it's not a quiet approval. Her face drops, and her voice instantly shifts into mom mode. She doesn't scream or overreact, but the disappointment is clear. "You're engaged?" she asks, almost like she's waiting for Belly to say it's a joke. But Belly confirms it. That's when Laurel's concern comes out. Her voice gets tighter, her tone more serious. "You're too young," she says. "This is a big decision, one you can't just undo." Belly tries to explain that she's sure that this is what she wants, but Laurel isn't buying it. Later, in a private conversation between mother and daughter, Laurel gets real. She doesn't yell, but she's firm. "This isn't about love," she says. "It's about everything you're running from." That line hits deep. Because Laurel sees that this engagement might not be coming from a place of confidence, but from fear. Fear of losing Jeremiah. Fear of losing family. Fear of the pain that comes with standing still. Then there's Steven, Belly's older brother. He's completely caught off guard by the news. At first, he tries to be the peacekeeper. He says things like "if it makes you happy," and tries to force a smile. But his body language tells the truth: he's not on board. You can tell he's torn. Jeremiah is like a brother to him, and Belly is, well, his actual sister. And now, they're engaged. It's awkward, uncomfortable, and almost too close for comfort. There's a scene where Steven pulls Jeremiah aside.